knowledge of the image making capacity of a film. So the frames, the lighting, the camera movement. Um, we are the persons that help a director sort of come to a firm sort of visual storytelling capacity of the film. So yeah, I'm the person behind the camera, making sure that the camera's in the right place and that the lighting is working for the story, for the script. Um, Sort of the way I helped visualize those flashbacks, or those sort of like flashback, flash forward moments in the film, was really to try to connect to my relationship with my children. At the time, I had one child, and I have two now. But I was using my off time with him as a way to inform how I photographed Amy's relationship, Louise's relationship with Hannah in the film. And so it was one of those things where I had to be acutely honest to what my everyday life looked like. And if I felt like if I was doing that in the film or helping do that in the film, that Denis and I would be doing right by the story. And so that's one of those moments where you have to really, really allow real life, real time to influence your art. Because the relationship between a parent and a child is so imperfect, it's so pure, it's so challenging, it's so joyous, it's so euphoric that whenever you try to slide untruthful things into that process, that everybody sees it. And so, in order to protect ourselves from what we thought would be, sort of overly um, overly aesthetic, um, sort of overly aestheticized sort of bits and pieces in the film, we would just say, let's just treat these like they were just everyday Tuesday morning moments with your kids, and if we did that, then we felt like we were doing the right thing, and that it would work in relationship to the rest of the story. Well, we definitely weren't like, oh, let's make this film different from any sci-fi film we've ever seen. But I think what we were really trying to do is not shackle ourselves to genre, right? Because in a nutshell, the film, it was about aliens. It's about the arrival of these aliens, but it's really about a woman coming to the realization of her own mortality and the mortality of her children. And that has to trump everything else. That is what carries us through the story. And so I think when you think about it that way, when you sort of like focus your lens on that reality or that piece of the story, then it frees you up from some of the things that you would normally have to address in a science fiction film, where you have to present things as the abnormal or those things as the extraterrestrial. Our film is massively terrestrial. It's about who we are here, and that the aliens come not to show us ourselves, right? Which is also what science fiction does, right? This extraterrestrial thing comes to the planet to show you who you are, and then you're free, or if that thing challenges you and you have to defend yourself from that. This film didn't have any of those things in it. Really, all it required was that we allowed our human characters to be on the journey as they would be, and that the interaction with the aliens doesn't change the tide of time, but it only heightens and enlightens and heightens the moment. And so it sort of heightens the process of realization. And so in that sense, we didn't have to think about the aliens with the guns and the alloy and all the things that science fiction films do. All the explosions and it didn't have to be that fancy. It could be a lot more simple. In that sense, it's like I think it was better suited for us as filmmakers, especially Denis and I, who I think favor a more lo-fi, subtle, nuanced storytelling structure. It was the perfect one with aliens is sort of like the backdrop, but the human beings in front of the lens is where we invested all of our storytelling sensibilities. Well, I'm a huge fan of Denis' work before Arrival, so it's just one of those things where there was an open door for him to work with a cinematographer, and I was looking for a script to sort of to make the next film that I worked on, and this just happened to like fall like right in front of me, like, oh, check it out, it's the new Denis Villeneuve film, new script. and I read it and I was blown away. I was, it could have gone any way. It could have been. I probably would have done it even if it was something that I didn't see a direct connection to, but just because it was Denis, that carries it a long way for me. But the fact that the material was was a material that I could really relate to, that made it even better. And so it's just the process of looking for a director that you really admire and want to work with, and hoping that you get an opportunity to do that, and that director having enough curatorial power in their practice as an artist, and where they start to sort of dig in the crates and find the next person they want to collaborate with. And so it's just sort of, and that way is very natural. It just kind of fell into place, and I just just accepted the opportunity and did it. I'm prepping the new Han Solo Star Wars film, so yeah, that's what I'm doing now, and yeah, that'll be out soon. Well, it'll be out in a while. It won't be a while, but it won't be out soon. It'll be a while before it comes out, but that's what I'm working on right now.